birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr.
Metal Dude.
Happy birthday to you.
Welcome, metal enthusiasts, to another episode of The Metal Dude Abides. Tonight, we are going to celebrate the absolute explosion of great female vocalists in heavy metal in the year 2025. But before we get to that, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of you listening out there. The Metal Dude has been doing this now for 2 years. Oh, it's flown by. And I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has watched my videos, who has liked my videos, who has commented on my videos, who has subscribed to the channel. Your support means everything. You know, this is just a fun thing that I decided to do a couple of years ago, and I obviously can't do it without your support. So I thank you. Here's hoping that year 3 is even better than the first 2 years. So thanks again for all your support. Now, you might be asking, 2 years for the Metal Dude? Let me tell you, this channel is primarily focused on the history of heavy metal. We talk about, right now, we're hip deep in the year 1984. And my goal is to get through like 65 years of heavy metal music. We went all the way back to the 60s. We're, like I said, midway through the 80s, and we're going to go all the way to modern day whenever that occurs, right? So, but my favorite video to do each year is to do a video that talks about the best albums and the best songs for the current year. Because I've loved metal for, well over 50 years now, but I still love metal, and I love talking about current music almost as much as I like talking about all the good stuff that I raised up on in the 70s, 80s, etc. So I notice, about this time of year, everybody starts putting out their best of so far videos. And so far, I've resisted that urge. I like to save it for the end of the year because, if you like the same albums in July that you end up picking for your list in December, I feel like it could be a kind of a monotonous thing. Plus, there's always that big surprise at the end of what's the Metal Dude going to pick. So instead, I thought I would do something a little bit different and talk about a trend I'm seeing early on here in 2025. So in 2023, the scene was dominated by Swedish melodic death metal. Orbit Culture put out not just a great album that year, but a fantastic EP. Avitarium put out one of my favorite albums of the year, and In Flames put out a really great album as well. Totally dominated the list. In 2024, traditional heavy metal made a big comeback. You had sensational albums from big bands from the 80s like Judas Priest, Saxon, Riot 5, Accept, and a whole host of others. But in 2025, at least at the 6-month mark, what I'm seeing is out so many great bands with female lead singers are putting out some of the best songs and albums of the year. So I have compiled a list of not 1 or 2, but 12 of the best bands of 2025 that have a strong female vocalist. So we're going to go through each of those in the order they were released. And I'll even give you a sneak preview of just how strong of a contender they are to make that list in December. Let's get cracking. 2025 didn't wait long to produce that very first strong female vocalist album. January 24th, we got the new album from Avitarium, Between You, God, the Devil, and the Dead. Whew, that's a mouthful. Now, you can probably tell by that title, this band has a little bit of a progressive stint to them, but they're primarily considered a doom metal band. This is their 6th studio album. I had not heard of Avitarium before this. I'm definitely going to check out a lot of their back catalog because this album is absolutely fantastic. They are from Sweden. The reason I say this is because what you're going to detect is not only are we having a strong year of female vocalists, they're from all over the globe and play a whole lot of different styles. The singer in this case, Ginny Ann Smith, she is an amazing vocalist, a very beautiful singing style, very sultry, very smoky, very bluesy. Really dig this singer. Now, the album is very good, but I want to bring your attention also to a particular song because this is one of the strongest songs of the year. Long Black Waves is an absolute banger. I've been listening to this obviously for about 6 months. I'm still addicted to this song, and it's definitely going to be one of the contenders for Song of the Year. So if you like that slower, doomier, dare I say, bluesier style of heavy metal, go check out Avitarium. Between You, God, the Devil, and the Dead. We only had to wait a couple of weeks before the next album approaches. Ginger put out their new album, Duel, on February 7th. Now, Ginger is also considered somewhat progressive, but very different from the last progressive band because they are also primarily considered a metalcore album. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different names, and I'm going to be butchering a lot of different names. I apologize in advance to everybody. The lead singer, of course, is Tatiana Shmylak. This band is from Ukraine, and this is their 5th studio album. I would say Ginger is very well known. They've got a lot of classic songs, have a huge fan base. So I was very familiar with this band. Tatiana's vocals, very different from the first one in that she imposes those kind of death growls, very dirty vocals, but she can also do very good clean vocals as well. That's what makes some of these vocalists so amazing, is that versatility. Now, if you go to that album, I think the best song on there is the title track, Duel, but Green Serpent is also very good. Just an amazing story about this band. Obviously, with all the war going on in Ukraine, they are from Ukraine. They had to kind of escape all that carnage, had to petition the government to get out of Ukraine. I believe they are in America right now doing recording of the albums and whatnot. So, we all lift our hearts out to all the people of Ukraine that are involved in that terrible war. And puts a little bit more of an inspirational story behind the great band Ginger. One week later, February 14th, we get the 11th studio album from Gothic Heavyweight's Lacuna Coil. They have a very famous lead singer as well, Christina Scabbia. Now, Lacuna Coil comes from Italy. So as you can see, as I said earlier, this is kind of a worldwide phenomenon. We've been in Sweden, we've been in Ukraine, now we're in Italy. Christina Scabbia, one of the best-known female singers in heavy metal. She really knocks it out of the park on this one. I love the song Gravity. Very good song. But there's also another song called In the Meantime. Now, if you're not satisfied with one great female vocalist, in this one you're going to get 2. Because there's a guest appearance from New Year's Day vocalist Ash Costello, another one of my favorite female vocalists in heavy metal. So check out the new album from Lacuna Coil, Sleepless Empire. March gets off to a bang as Spirit Box throws their hat in the ring with their brand new album, Tsunami Sea. Now, one of the things that I found a little bit interesting about this is that a lot of the bands that I'm featuring, I don't really have, in previous top 10 lists for songs and albums of the year, haven't really included a lot of female-fronted bands. Here is one of those exceptions to that, as Spirit Box has been a prominent feature on the lists recently. This is only their second studio album, technically, but they've put out a lot of like EPs and other various, so it seems like every year Spirit Box has some material to review, but this is technically only their second album. This band, we're going to move all the way across the pond over to North America, as Spirit Box is a Canadian heavy metal band fronted by very famous, very talented Courtney LaPlante. If you want to know about her singing style, it is also a very versatile mix of dirty vocals, clean vocals, very talented, very famous singer in the metal world. Now, if you want on this album, there's a lot of varied material. So if you want something that talks about, maybe shows off her dirty vocals, look for the song Soft Spine. But if you're more interested in seeing what her clean vocals look like, try the song Perfect Soul. Again, this is a metalcore album, and it is one of probably going to be on a lot of people's lists as a contender for Album of the Year. Still in March, we go from the very famous Spirit Box to a lesser-known band by the name of Tower, and their latest album, Let There Be Dark. This is a traditional heavy metal band that comes from the United States of America, in the New York City area, I believe. This is a band fronted by a lady by the name of Sarah Beth Linden, who is an absolute powerhouse. Really deep, powerful vocals. Really like her style. Really love this traditional heavy metal sound that they have. A couple of songs just to think. I think their best song on this album is a song called Under the Chapel. But there's a couple of deep tracks on this album as well. Book of the Hidden, really good. Don't You Say. Overall, this album is very consistent from start to finish. And it's all powered by the amazing vocals of Sarah Beth Linden. Just a slight footnote here. There's also an album that comes out in March from the legendary band Cradle of Filth. Now, clearly, Cradle of Filth doesn't have a female lead singer, so why am I talking about it? Because the vocal work of one Zoe Marie Fedorov really brings this album a whole new texture that I really dig. Their album, The Screaming of the Valkyries, is definitely a contender for Album of the Year. And while it's a great album, there's a big contribution being held by one Zoe Marie Fedorov. And just to keep the theme going, this band is from England. March has one last nugget to produce. On March 28th, Arch Enemy put out their album, Blood Dynasty. An album that I reviewed on this very channel if you want to go check out more about this fantastic album. Of course, Arch Enemy, fronted by Alyssa White Gluz. They are also from Sweden. They have that Swedish melodic death metal sound down pat. And this is their, I can't believe it, 12th studio album. It is excellent. This, spoiler alert, is one of the strong contenders for Album of the Year, and also has a couple of songs on there. They're strong contenders for Song of the Year. In particular, I love the song Paper Tiger, and I love the song Liars and Thieves. So again, if you want to check out more of this album, go into my channel. I might even circulate it above my head. This is one of the best albums of 2025. April 11th is going to bring us not one, but two of the albums on this list. The first one we're going to talk about is from the legendary symphonic metal band Epica. They put out a brand new album named A Spiral. Now, Epica has been at this a while. This is their 9th studio album, led by singer Simone Simons. Say that 5 times fast. And they are a Dutch band. So, again, all over the globe with this. Their new album is really good. Now, the one thing I will say that when you typically, like most of the female singers I listen to in metal, a lot of them do come from the symphonic side of things. A lot of symphonic metal bands are characterized by having kind of that operatic female singer at the forefront. Epica is no different. Simone has those, high, surging, operatic type vocals, soaring vocals, if you will, and one of the best singers in metal today. A couple of songs off this album that I really enjoy. One, Arcana, really good, maybe almost a ballad-like song there. And Across the Divide, I believe this is the album opener, and it is a real banger. So again, the symphonic metal is represented here with a brilliant album from the band Epica. But as I said earlier, April 11th came out with two great albums. The second comes from the Italian band Messa and their album, The Spin. Now again, this is a band that I was not familiar with beforehand, but this is their 4th studio album. They are a doom metal band, and if I'm getting this right, the lead singer just goes by the name Sarah. But she has got a tremendous voice. This album has had me mesmerized since the day it came out. Again, just checked it out, never heard of this band, and it's been on heavy rotation ever since. A couple of songs I really like on there. Fire on the Roof. It seems like that's a little bit of a deeper track, but I really love it. And maybe the big hit off there, At Races. But every song on this album is good. This is another one of those albums that's going to be a strong contender for Album of the Year. And again, Fire on the Roof is probably going to show up in some of the best songs of 2025. This is a real sleeper. If you were like me and had never heard of Messa before, go check this out. It is fantastic. Now, a little earlier in this video, I talked about how I'm going to butcher names of some of these great singers. Apologize in advance. But here, I'm probably going to mispronounce the singer's name, the band name, and the album name. I might hit the trifecta on this one. We'll see how I do. Because in late April, I got to look at it even to say it, a band by the name of Luvati, I don't know how you say it. They put out an album called Anv, A-N-V. Their lead singer, Fabienne Ernie, is fantastic. So there you go. We'll get all the butchering out of the way early on this one. They are a Swiss metal band. They are considered to be a folk metal band. I really like this band because even though they are Swiss, their kind of folk metal has a lot of like Celtic overtones to it. I have fallen in love with this album. It is one of my favorite albums of the year. This album is another one that's going to be a strong contender for Album of the Year, if I could even pronounce it. Now, a couple of songs to bring to your attention to. The Prodigal Ones, really good song. And the title track, again, I'm going to try it, Anv. Anv sounds like it could be right inserted into the Lord of the Rings soundtrack and not miss a beat. Beautiful, clean vocals. Again, that kind of soaring fantasy type of metal here. Love this album to death. Again, this is a band somehow I had never run into before, but I'm so glad they did. Really good album. And again, this is their 9th studio album, so I have no excuses for not having heard this band before. I will definitely remedy that in the very near future. on May 16th, Novelist put out their brand new album, Coda. This is their 5th studio album, and technically they are a metalcore band. But I have to say, this is kind of a hard band to describe. Very upbeat music, it seems. And they are from France. Now, one of the things that I have to say is, a few years ago, I wasn't really familiar with a lot of French metal. But it seems like in the last couple of years, more and more French bands are really stepping up their game and becoming a bigger and bigger player in the metal community. So I really kind of got turned on to this band. Again, this is their 5th studio album. Never really had heard much of them. They put out the first single, the title track, Coda, to this, and it kind of caught my interest. So kind of put them on I'm going to have to go check them out. And sure enough, May 16th, they dropped their new album, and it is absolutely worth a listen. So once again, check out the band Novelist and their single, Coda. And that brings us to our current situation here in July. That's right. I didn't have anything that caught my eye in June. What was wrong, everybody? But on July 11th, a new band, Cavallo Louise, put out their brand new album, Edge of the Abyss. Once again, this is a band that's been around a while. First time I had heard of them. This is their 4th studio album. They are definitely an alternative metal band, a very unique sound. They are led by Jess Alanick. Now, this band technically hails from England, but once again, putting together this multicultural theme, the band members are actually from Venezuela, France, and New Zealand. The lead singer, Jess, is the one that is from Argentina. She does a lot of bilingual vocals on here, a lot of English vocals, a lot of Spanish vocals, and she is an amazing singer. A couple of the tracks that I really like off this new album: Impeccable, very good; Aimless, very good. But again, the entire album is an absolute blockbuster. Very different, but it works. Go check out the new album from Cavallo Louise called Edge of the Abyss. Now, I know we're talking about albums released in the first half of the year. I just mentioned one that came a little bit after that in July, but I'm also going to mention one that is about to happen in August. August 11th, I believe, Hailtorm is putting out their brand new album. Hailtorm is, again, more of a traditional heavy metal band out of the United States of America. They, of course, fronted by the very famous, very loved Lzzy Hale, one of the premier lead singers in all of music. They are putting out their album in August called Everest. So why is it on my radar already? Because they've released a couple of sneak peeks of this album with a couple of singles called, the first one, Darkness Always Wins, and the one they just released, Rain Your Blood on Me. Kind of a darker, heavier album, I think, for Hailtorm. It's got me very excited, not just of all the great music we've heard thus far, but as you can see, just in a few weeks, we're going to get even more. Be very interesting to see how many of these albums, songs make the end of year lists, because again, they have been very prolific. And again, we still have over 5 months left in 2025. There's also a lot of bands that I left off this video because you have to, at one point, cut it off. A lot of bands who have just put out singles this year. Castle Rat has put out a couple of really cool singles. Battle Beast has come out with some very original singer there. And there's also some fringe bands out there like Ice Peak and others that kind of flirt with the heavy metal hard rock side of the world, but tend to not quite fall all the way to the hard rock heavy metal, but have also put out excellent albums this year. So, there is a lot of great female music out there, a lot of great female voices, and I have attached a playlist in the comments. So go in or in the description above. So if you want to hear all of these great bands, I put together a little playlist for you. But I also want to hear from you. So if there's a female band that I haven't listed here that you think, boy, what a snub, put it in the comments below. We're all looking to learn about new bands. It might be something I haven't heard, so put it in the comments below. Or also, what are your albums that you are most interested in? Which of these groups do you like the best? I want to hear from you. So I do this for a reason. I like to learn about music. I like to hear from fans. So if you have some favorites for the year 2025, put them in the comments below. Otherwise, we will be back in our regular Fixing the Grammy series next week. We are smack dab in 1984, and you can't talk about 1984 without talking about the album 1984 and the very sad breakup of the band Van Halen. That's what we'll be talking about next week, so you want to catch it. It's going to be one of the best episodes ever. If you don't want to miss it, the best way to do that is to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, put on notifications, and we do this every Tuesday, so you'll know when the next video drops and you won't forget. We all know YouTube's a little weird. Sometimes you watch a video every week, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't pop up in your feed. The best way to fix that problem is to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't lose your track of all these great channels. In the meantime, this is the Metal Dude signing off. Take care.